Okay. So in the last session, we have seen how to create the value set for category key flex field. And also we created structure and instance. Now we'll create structure and instance for remaining two more key flex field. First, we'll create value sets for location. Go to setup and maintenance. Search for assets. Here is the task. Manage fixed assets, flex field value sets. Go to the same task, create. So we are going to create, okay, value set for country, state, and county, city. We don't need for building and all. So how that client requires, sometimes client can have additional segment for location as a future. In future, they may convert into with a different name, they may use it. So let's create Alt INC country. Module is fixed assets or say assets. Validation type is independent. Value type is character. Subtype is text. Length, say the country names we are going to provide with the max length of 20 or 30. Say 30, save and close. Click on create. Alt INC state. This you can make as dependent also. Okay, state will have a dependency on country, or else you can make it as independent also. Character, subtype text, say 20 or 30 characters length. Save and close. The next value set is county. Alt INC county. Twenty or 30. Save and close. And one more is city. Alt INC application is assets. Validation type is independent. Value data type character. Subtype is text. Length say 30. Save and close. So we created value sets for location. Now we are going to create structure for location key flex field. Go to manage fixed assets, key flex fields. Search for location key flex field structure. Click on manage structures. And the same rule is applicable. At a time, one structure can be active. So whatever already active, you disable if you want to create new structure. Reality, when we are working for the client, we create only one. Even if you create multiple, no use. So now we are practicing. So already whatever available disable, otherwise new one you cannot create. When you are working for any client, we create only one. You no need to disable, nothing would be available as predefined. So just disable and save. Now system will allow us to create the new structure. Alt INC location flex field. delimiter, nothing but segments operator. Save and create segments whatever we planned. The first segment is country. Copy the segment code and take as a name. Sequence number is 1. Prompt, short prompt, both are same. We are taking. Your display width, we require 20 characters for the field. Max, we can create 7 segments within the location key flex field. We are creating segment 1. Assign relevant value set. So country. Save and close. Next, state. Segment number 2. State. So display with this 20 characters. Segment 2. Value set name is alt inc state. For state segment, assign state segment label. Okay. So if you want to track some tax state level for the tracking purpose, the state segment label would be useful. So say save and close. Create one more segment as a county. Save and close. And one more segment is city. Fourth segment, display with 20 characters. Number 4. Assign value set. Save and close. Save and close. Click on that. Now we are going to create instance for the same structure. Click on manage structure instances. So create. So alt inc location flex, or you may write as a flex field. Tab out, it will copy as the API name and take the same as a name if required as a description. Now select structure whatever we created. So alt inc location flex field. Mark all these segments as a required into our instance from the structure. So county, city. Save and close. Done. Now submit for deployment. So we created value sets for location. We created structure. And also we created instance. Now we are going to create a value set for asset key flex field. So one segment is enough that you can name as a asset key. For the same segment, we are going to create the value set. Go to value sets, create, Alt I and C. Asset key is the value set name. Module is assets. Validation type is independent. Value data type is character. Subtype text. Length, the maximum length. Say the key you want to give, max 30 characters name. Save and close. Now go to key flex fields. Search for asset key flex field. Asset key flex field. Okay, asset key flex field. This is the actual name. And click on manage structures and find out existing structure. Since this is a practice environment, and disable it. Whatever you see, only one can be enabled by default. That disable if you want to create new one. Now create new structure. So Alt I and C, asset key flex field. Well, so let me write it uppercase. The same take as a name, the code as name. Delimiter, anything you can choose, ideally dot or hyphen we use. Save and click on create segment. The name is asset key. So first segment prompt, short prompt, and display width. Say 20 characters. Within this asset key flex field, max we can create 10 segments. So assign value set, save and close. Save and close. Done. Deploy. So we created value set. Also we created structure and instance. Now we'll see how to create the values in these value sets. So values we create as it is how we create the values in our chart of account related segment value sets. But only the difference is asset key flex field has two segments. One segment is dependent, another segment is independent. But there only we have to understand how the values can be managed. Rest it could be country, state, city, county. Directly we go to that value set and we'll fill the values. That's all. We'll see anyway. Click on done. First go to the value sets task to create values in the respective value sets. So Alt INC, okay, major minor category value sets we created. So Alt INC major category. Go to manage values, click on create. The major category value is say building. Another major category could be land. Another category could be value could be furniture. And you can list out vehicles, okay, vehicles, plant, machinery. Okay, these are all like you can list out as a major category values. Save and close. I will create minor category values based on the major category. We'll see. Go to manage values. We created this value set as a dependent. It is going to depend on independent value set, that is major. Now click on create. So here you are going to create minor values for building. Building is the major, minor. What are the different type of buildings we have? Those are minor. Say the building name is say shopping complex. Okay. Building is the major, type of buildings are minor. Shopping complex. Now, if it is the minor value, it is going to be under which major value you have to select here. The major value, so we have in the independent value set. So whatever we created, those you can see. This shopping complex belongs to which major value we have to select. This belongs to building. Click on add. Say office building. The same way you may create few values for furniture, land, etc. Those also, this is how you have to specify. Whatever minor value you are creating in the minor category, that should be tagged with a major category value, since these two value sets created as a dependent and independent with relation. So save and close. So this is how just you can create values for remaining value sets also. Say country, go to manage values. Here you can list out the countries. USA. So, what are the countries you are operating the business in? Which countries we have assets? Create all the countries here. The same way you can create the states, counties, cities, create all. Now, even we create, we cannot use in this environment. Reason, already Oracle created chart of account structure instance mapped at instance level by using one of the tasks. We'll see that. Okay. So that's how you can add the values. Okay, so we'll add the values in other value sets which can be accessed within this environment within the fixed assets. But if it is a fresh instance, this is a process we have to follow. We are discussing all the points, how we, as a part of implementation, so what sequence or what setups we have to perform, we are trying to understand. Now we'll go to system controls. Here is the task, manage system controls. If it is a fresh instance, what are the instances we created for category, location, asset, key? Those we have to select here. Those three we have to select here. Now we cannot select. This is a one-time setup. If it is a fresh instance, we can create. Otherwise, no. Okay. So here we have to select. Now just make a note. What are the instance names we have here? Category, location, asset key. Now the same we'll see in the instance. And other few points, the enterprise name. Here you can give the name, Alt IMC, and oldest date placed in service. The asset oldest date placed in service within your organization. So whatever you have assets, which asset this belongs to very oldest date. Okay, the asset which you are still using, which is very oldest asset, when you started using that date you have to specify, and automatic asset numbering. Okay, if it is a fresh instance, directly you can input the number here. Now already number given in this instance, you cannot change. If it is a fresh environment, the field is open like enterprise name. All the fields will be open. So you can select. Already asset number is selected. You cannot change this number. The same number will run across the instance. So if you are creating assets in India or US, UK, the same number system will be triggering. And whenever you create asset, system has an option. You can enter asset number with the same number, system will create asset. If you don't enter any number, this is a number, this is a sequence it will use to generate the number. So you give a number, but system will allow you to enter number also. If you don't want to allow the users to enter asset number, your requirement is always system has to generate the asset number automatically. You can enable the checkbox. Prevent user entered asset number, so that it won't allow any user to enter the asset number. Asset number always system will generate. Okay, just notice the parameters what we have in the system controls. Okay, so oldest date placed in service and three key flexible structure instances selection, asset number specification, and the control over whether asset number can be provided by business users or not. So save and close. So that's how you can set up the system controls if it is a fresh instance. Now we'll just go and have a look how these are available. Go to key flex fields, go to category, and go to structure instances. What is instance name being used in this environment? Look category. It is name, not code. Search for the same. Name is category and click on edit. So within this, they have two segments, major category, minor category, and they have these two value sets. If you maintain any value within this value set, this you can use. So when you create assets, if you want to use any values as a major, minor, those values we have to enter in this, because this is the instance we are using. Within that instance, these are the value sets we have. The same way, you can go to location key flex field, go to structure instances, search. This is the one we have in the system controls, right? Location we have in the system controls. Click on edit. Now you can see they created 4 segments within this location, key flex field, structure and instance, and these are the value sets. So if you enter any values within these value sets, when you create asset, this we can use for asset location purpose. Okay, take it. So these are the 4 value sets we have. And here seems to somebody marked as a not required. You just you can click on edit, say require, required, save and close. Done. Since we did few changes, submit for deployment. Now asset key also, what are the segments we have and what are the value sets being used, we have to check. If it is a fresh instance, this is all we don't need to do, just we'll follow this process. Done. We create everything and we'll maintain the value. Since here the system controls level already key flex field structure instances are selected for this 3. So that is the reason we have to depend on those instance related value set values to create any assets in fixed assets now. If it is
Lakshman,
our
one
own
question.
instances, we can directly create values in the respective value sets. Yep.
When we were creating the structure for location key flex field, we could see that the segment label is only available for state, but not for country,
That is
county,
not
and
required for state.
yeah.
Also not required in some countries if they want to track some property tax and all that they can use. Okay. So that's how it is. Other segments no labels, right? I delete no labels. That's how it is. Fine. So deployed. Now go to asset key and go to manage structures. Directly go to instances. Click on search. So this is the one which is being used already. We have seen the name is asset key. Click on edit. One segment we have only one value set for the same value set you copy for our reference purpose to look into that. For asset key, this is the value set. Now, if you want to maintain the values, you maintain these value sets. These value sets are mapped with this respective asset related 3 key flex field instances. So whenever you create assets, so whatever the value sets are available as a part of this 3 key flex field instances, those only you can access. We'll see. First, we'll go to value set related to category. Go to flex field value sets. What is the name? FA major category. Search. There are many values are available already. Okay. equipments, computer, furniture, and many land, vehicles. So we'll create because these values might have used the combinations might have used. System won't allow us to create again same combinations. So we'll go and create few values for our testing purpose. Okay. So here you can say maybe XX building. Or else you can give for identification Alt I and C building. Same way you can list out multiple, however we created within our own value set. Building, land, furniture, computers, you can create many values. When we are going to create assets, other further setups, this value would be enough for us. So save and close. Now create few values in the minor category value set. So whatever we created within our value set, those we cannot use. If it is a fresh instance, we can use. In this instance, already instances are mapped at system controls. Inside of those instances, what are the value sets are being used? Values should be available in those value sets only. Now go to manage values. And here also you can see many values available. I will create the few values. Just click on add, scroll little up. Say shopping complex. This shopping complex is the minor category value, means this is the dependent value on which independent value that you have to select. We created as a XX building. You may create few more minor category values. Say save and close. Okay. So this is how you can maintain the values whatever required. Done. So that's how you can maintain the values when you are practicing. You can create values in your own value sets, but ultimately the same values we required in the value sets, which are part of instances which are selected in the system control. So that's very important. So it's a one-time setup, and you cannot undo. Whatever you select, that will be used across the instance for multiple countries also. Again, it is not country specific, it is entire instance level setup. If you implement for 100 countries, 100 countries has to use the same 3 key flex field instances for fixed assets. All the 100 countries related data, all the categories, locations, asset keys you have to maintain within these 3 key flex field related value sets. And physical year or physical year calendar you can call. Okay, just better you can call it as physical year. You can call as physical year calendar also. What does it mean by physical year here? Here physical year means we have to list out all the years the assets which are belongs to. Now you have assets in the company. Those assets belongs to 2000, and those assets we are going to use max up to 2040. Now all these years we have to list out by using the physical year. All the assets belongs to the asset life is span across how many years, those we have to define in the system. Here is the task. Manage physical years. Click on create, name it as Alt INC physical. The same name you can take for description also. And save it. If you save, this plus icon will be enabled. Save. Now click on add. So reality, you can just give the years from the past, how the data is available with the client, the assets are belongs to current assets, whatever the assets they have in the organization at present. For those assets, what is the lifetime that we have to define. So here, if you create from very past, for all those you have to create the periods also, but really not required. And in the fixed assets, if you want to calculate the depreciation from current month or current year, you have to make sure at least one prior year is presented. Okay, if you want to create depreciation from the current year or else a current month, now make sure you have a past 1 year also. Okay, otherwise you will not be able to calculate. So here I am taking physical year also from, you may take from like 2000 or 2010 or 20, whatever you can take based on the reality. But here for our testing purpose, I am taking 2023. This year start date and end date. The year start and end date. The format is month. Okay, John 1st, 23. When it ends, month December 31st, 23. Save it. Just click on add. It will add the years automatically. Save and close. For these physical years, we have to maintain the periods to calculate the depreciation. If we are going to use the asset across all these years, we have to calculate the depreciation. We have to calculate the depreciation. To calculate the depreciation, we have to create the periods. For that, we use the calendar called as asset calendar. You can call it as asset calendar or call it as depreciation calendar also. Both are same.
Lakshman, is
Yep.
the calendar year start date and date should be similar to ledger start date and date? Ledger level we create one calendar, right?
No, no, no. You don't need to sync with your
Same.
accounting calendar.
Okay.
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 Now, whatever we are going to create as asset calendar, this we have to match with your accounting calendar. We'll discuss that point. Physical year now. Okay.
Oh,
Physical year, just you define the actual year start date and end date.
okay.
Right. Yeah. So asset calendars, or you can call as depreciation calendars. Click on manage asset calendars and say create. Here is one rule. Within this calendar, what are the periods you create? It should match with the accounting calendar periods. We'll discuss first, we'll give the name, say Alt INC, depreciation. It is not taking more than these characters. And physical year name. Already we created the same, you select here. Alt INC, physical. Periods per year. Here we don't maintain any adjustment periods, and the period suffix, when you create the periods, the name will be copied. It could be calendar or physical. Just year will be defaulted. How it would happen, we'll see. None means you have to enter. We'll come to know. Now click on add period. Now the name what we are giving, it may be the name what you are giving period name, you may have, may not have within your accounting calendar. Doesn't matter, but the name should match with your accounting calendar period name. Again, case sensitive. So very, very important point. So whatever the period name we have as per our accounting calendar, the same we have to maintain the fixed assets as asset calendar. If period name is different, name in the sense name format. Okay, here you can search for accounting calendar. Manage accounting calendars. Name we are using alt. What is the period name? Okay, so we have like this: John, Feb, March, J capital, remaining two letters lowercase, and hyphen 24. Exactly the same format. So here you should not take the name with uppercase. Same. Again, case sensitive. Okay, case sensitive. So this is the point we have to understand. Done. The name is John. Create from one prior year. That's very important. 23. And this period, start date and end date. Month, John, date first, 23. And end, period end date. Month, John only. Ends with 31st and 20th. Save it. Now here you have a period suffix, not prefix, suffix, physical. Because of this, what will happen? You'll see. Click on add. You enter period name. It should match with a GL accounting calendar period name. Case sensitive. There uppercase means here uppercase, lowercase means lowercase, mixed means mixed. F should be capital Feb. Now I'm not going to give any year here. Hyphen 23 I'm not going to enter. Here, if you see period suffix, this is the period. For this suffix is, prefix is Feb, suffix is year only. That system will add automatically since it is selected as a physical here. So within this date range, already it took date range. Okay, already it took date range. It will fetch automatically. You see, just click on add row. Because of this period suffix is selected physical, it is fetching. And just give the name March. Just click on add. June. So we need to add the periods for first year. Whatever the year you are starting, you have to add, rest system will create.
Lakshman, it's only period name or start date, end date also should match with accounting calendar.
No, the dates are different. Dates are different. Period name only.
Okay.
Yeah, name should match. Otherwise, what happens is, whatever the depreciation you calculate in the fixed asset, that cannot be transferred to GL. It means
Okay.
we can call it as FA implementation is failed. Yeah.
Oh,
Now click on add. From now, system will create the periods. Complete name. So now Feb 24, it is taking 29. Okay. At least for your testing, you create up to current year. Yeah, done. Save and close. Now, another point here is prorate convention. What does it mean by prorate convention? How you want to calculate the depreciation for the assets when you place asset in the service and when you retire asset from service. Say today you are going to place asset in the service. That means we are going to use one asset from today. Today date is 21st. Do you want to calculate the depreciation only from today, or you want to calculate depreciation for this entire month? Or else you may have a rule. If any asset is placed in the service between 1 to 15, depreciation should be calculated from first of that month. If any asset you placed in the service, any asset you will start using in between 16th of month to till month end, then you will calculate the depreciation maybe from 16th. Or else you may have a rule, if you place asset in the service in the current month, you will start calculating depreciation from the following month, means next month. In the same way, if you are going to retire the asset today, one asset you are going to retire from service, today is 21st. Do you need to calculate depreciation up to 21st only, or else you want to calculate depreciation for entire month? How you want to calculate? The first period and last period of asset. In the first period and last period of asset, how you are going to calculate the depreciation? How you are going to calculate depreciation? That we have to define by using prorate convention. In the remaining periods, anyway, you calculate the full month depreciation. Only in the first and last, when you place asset in the service, in that period, at any point of time, you can place whether you have to calculate the depreciation for entire month or the remaining days within that month. Other point is when you're retiring the asset from service, till which date the asset is in the service, accordingly how to calculate, or else for full month it may need to be calculated. That rule you can define by using prorate convention. Okay, prorate convention. We can use this for first period as well as last period. We'll see how to create it. So search for prorate convention. Since we are using this multiple, it is not reflecting. Refresh. Search for prorate convention. Here is the task. Click on create. Say we want to calculate full month depreciation, irrespective of date when we are placing the asset in the service, or irrespective of the date when we are retiring from service. We want to calculate full month depreciation. In that case, here you can name it as Alt-INC full. It is not taking more than these characters. Okay, for name. Here you can write full month. So use a reference data set, use common. Common set. This will be mapping at other setups within the fixed assets, because fixed asset is not at BU level. So nothing we have at BU level related to these. The prorate convention reference at object you will not find at the BU level. You will be finding at other level related to fixed assets. We'll see that. And select our fiscal year. Here is our fiscal year. And now click on add. Or else you can enable the checkbox if your requirement is depreciate when placed in service. If you place the service today, from today only depreciation need to be calculated. You can enable the checkbox. That's how you can achieve. Or else your requirement is full month. So your system is taking the start date as per our fiscal year. All the periods you have to provide the date range as per the fiscal year. That is the reason we created only 1 year past. Now create prorate dates. If you place the asset in the service in between 1st Jan 23 to Jan 31st 23. Between this date range, 1st to 31st Jan 23, in between this date range, if you place asset in the service, you want to calculate depreciation from the 1st Jan, that means entire month, or you want to calculate the depreciation from next month. How you want to calculate that you have to set. We are going to set prorate. Prorate means it has to calculate from first only. Jan 1st 23. Save it. Just click on add. It will add the periods automatically. And make sure you have periods defined up to current year. So created for 1 year. Click on hit. Okay. Create up to this year end. Okay. If you create only for past year, it doesn't work. When you are going to create asset, it will create issue. Make sure periods are available till current year. Okay, current year ending. So done. We created up to December. This is how we create in case of full month. If you want to calculate the depreciation in the first and the last period, okay, say you are placing asset in the service today. Today is Feb 21st. So your requirement is, if you place the service and asset in the service for remaining days of this month only, it has to calculate from 21st to 28th of this month, last day of the month. Only for these days it has to calculate. In that case, you have to create the prorate convention daily. Fiscal year, Alt INC. If you want to calculate daily depreciation, what do you have to do? Every day you have to create as a one period. Means if you place the asset in the service in between 1st Jan to 1st Jan, depreciation should start from the same day. Save it. This is how you have to create the periods. If you want to create full month, you just give the date range for that specific month and give prorate date as a starting date of the month. If you want to calculate daily depreciation, means only how many days. For example, monthly depreciation is 1,000 for one of the asset, $1,000. That is a full month. If you are placing asset in the service on 21st, in the Feb, we have only 8 days left. Okay, for entire month, okay, 1,000 means 8 days, how much? That 8 days only it will calculate in the first month. Remaining months anyway full depreciation. The same way when you are retiring asset also, it will see we are retiring asset on 21st. For entire month depreciation is say 1,000. If entire month 1000 means for 21 days how much, that only it will calculate. So that's how you may create the periods.
Lakshman, so don't we have to
Daily.
select this checkbox also, depreciate when placed in
Yes,
service?
yes. You can enable that also. Or else you can define like this. So how to create. Okay.
Oh, so these are two ways then, either enable
Correct,
this
correct.
checkbox.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Just
So if we are
enabling.
enabling the checkbox, then how we will have to add these dates in?
No, that's what your system will understand. Depreciate when placed in service. Whenever you place, so accordingly you that means you are telling the system the same date would be prorate date. Depreciate when you place in service. I am placing asset in the service. From the date only it will calculate depreciation. It won't calculate from the month beginning.
So then we don't have to enter these dates at all?
Yes.
Like, okay. The system will automatically know.
Yeah, it will understand. If you enable this, if you use this prorate convention, it will understand since the checkbox are enabling. Or else you just define how you require. So done. Now, so we have to create prorate calendar. So for example, you are going to calculate depreciation monthly. Already you have monthly depreciation calendar. Again, you no need to create monthly prorate calendar. From where you create prorate calendar? From this task only. Now you have a prorate convention with the daily. Now prorate calendar you need with the daily. Okay, prorate calendar you need with the daily. If you want to calculate daily depreciation, you have to create prorate calendar. Go to asset calendars. So already we created our calendar, but that is monthly. If you want to calculate monthly depreciation, this is okay. But in the first and last period, you want to calculate depreciation daily base also, how many days are left. In that case, by using asset calendars task, we have to create the prorate calendar. Prorate calendar, there is no separate task. Here only you have to create. If you want to calculate the daily depreciation, what we have to do? Here we create alt daily. Okay. Alt daily. So periods per year, say 365 days. And click on add. Here we have to enter the date as a period name. Again, this is not for this we are creating for prorate purpose. This no need to follow the period name which is there in our GL. Okay, this is for first and last period. Already we have depreciation calendar created. This is the additional calendar we are creating to manage the depreciation in the first and last period. Here we create. So first, okay, say first John 23. John second. The same also you can copy there. It is not required. You have to take as it is. And same date. First John 1st 23. The same you copy here. And save it. Now create. Okay. This is fiscal right. Okay. So, 1 second. So daily. Fiscal. And daily we want to calculate 365 days. Select calendar. So month is John, day is 1st, 23. The same you have to use here. Now here you have to create the period name. Which name? The same name you provide. The period name and date is same. Now click on add. Calendar be given right title, date is not required. Just make it none. Ideally it should not default if you set calendar. $365. Take the same. Same. Okay, this you copy and paste. That's it. Every day has a one period. You copy and paste. So this is how in the first and last period, if you want to calculate daily depreciation, so this is how we have to create prorate calendar by using same asset calendar task only. Yeah, this is how you can create. So if you created asset calendar with monthly depreciation
So
also.
Lakshman, does this mean like we have to add like 365 rows for every year?
Yeah.
This will be too much, no?
Yes. Not too much, one time. Okay.
Yeah, for one time also.
Yeah,
Okay.
one time only, one time. But that is your requirement, right? Yeah.
So like if I'm understanding correctly, like if we have to create the depreciation on monthly basis, then we have to do the previous steps, whatever we have done, like
Yeah,
the
whatever you
prorate
created
convention.
as a asset calendar, same you can use as a prorate calendar.
Okay. But if we have to use daily depreciation, then
Daily.
we need to create this
Yeah.
daily calendar.
Apart from our asset calendar, which we created monthly, okay, asset calendar will create as per our accounting calendar.
Okay.
Okay. And prorate calendar will create as per how you want to calculate depreciation in the first and last period.
Okay.
Okay. Your requirement is daily depreciation. You have to create prorate calendar with the daily, even you have asset calendar with monthly. Your requirement is full month. Irrespective, any time you place asset in the service, you are not going to worry about on which date you are placing. You want to calculate full month. Then you no need to create prorate calendar. Already you have a calendar, right? As asset calendar with monthly. The same you can use as a prorate calendar also.
Okay.
Okay. Done. Now, within the fixed assets, okay, within the fixed assets, when you create assets, we don't select any business unit. In AP or AR, if you are creating transactions, we select business unit. Within the business unit, we create the transactions. But in case of fixed assets, we are not going to select any business unit. What we select here? We select asset book. Any asset you create in the fixed asset, that should be part of asset book. Within the asset book, we create assets in the fixed assets. Okay. So that asset book only we can use for depreciation purpose also. That asset book you can call as corporate book or depreciation book. Okay, with any name you can call asset book. When you say asset book, again there are two types: corporate and tax book. Corporate book and tax book. These two comes under asset books. Tax book we'll discuss later when we deal with the topic. So now take asset book is nothing but corporate book or depreciation book. So within the fixed assets, if you want to create and maintain the asset should belongs to asset book. That is the reason we have to create asset book as a mandatory. Let's create an asset book. So look for the task called as manage asset books. Click on asset books. and click on create. So provide the name, Alt INC, corporate book you can say. Enter everything in the uppercase in the name. So case sensitive, you won't allow lowercase. Take the same name as a description. So we have a two type of books. One is corporate, other one is tax. Okay, first we are going to create the corporate book. We'll discuss when you create the tax book, we will discuss how these two are different. Okay. So create corporate book. In corporate book only we'll create and maintain the assets. Why tax book we'll discuss. But now we are creating corporate book to create and maintain the assets in the book to as well as to calculate the depreciation. Okay, to maintain the assets in the fixed assets, we need corporate book. So with the help of corporate book, you will be able to calculate the depreciation for the assets which are in that corporate book. And select our ledger. In many instances, you may come across the issue with this ledger field. Okay, there is a bug with this field. Okay, it won't allow in one go. So I'll go here. In many instances, we have this issue. So when you're practicing also, you may come across, just you should wait for some time, it will work. So I'm selecting Alt I and CVS primarily. Ideally, it has to accept immediately. In many instances, it doesn't allow. Okay, so let's try. In many instances, it doesn't pick the value immediately. It takes too much of time. So that's how it will be here.
Lakshman, we can have more than one ledger. So can we also create more than one corporate book?
More than you don't need to have multiple ledgers to create multiple corporate books. You can have one ledger and you can create multiple corporate books also. Okay. Ledger is not the criteria to create the corporate book. Generally, we create the corporate book. Most of the businesses they go with the approach. Each legal entity they maintain separate corporate book. So they are running the business in US. They have a 4 registrations, 4 legal entities. Ledger would be one only, primary ledger. You create one. Entity wise, they create separate corporate books. Okay. Ledger is not the criteria to create the corporate books. We'll try from this browser also. Oh, great. It accepted. Super. So if you are when you are practicing, if it is not working, you have to retry. There is no other option. Okay. So one time you select from drop down. Second time, what you can do, you can go to other browser from there. You directly type the name within this field and tab out. It can fetch. You have to try in the different ways. It is fetching without taking much time. Now select depreciation calendar. So we create a depreciation calendar. Okay. So Alt INC depreciation calendar. And if you want to calculate, okay, if you want to calculate, so daily depreciation, how to set, we will discuss. For now, here you select normal calendar only, depreciation calendar monthly, and it's taking prorate calendar as monthly only. But your requirement is you want to calculate in the first and last month how many days applicable according. Here, prorate calendar how to change to daily. Okay, this is the point. Prorate calendar how to change to daily, and here divide depreciation. If you want to calculate daily depreciation, you select depreciation calendar here, but prorate calendar will be selecting daily, and divide depreciation here you have to select by days. Then in the first and last period, system will calculate daily depreciation. Remaining months full depreciation, first and last it will calculate daily. That's all. This is the point you have to understand. If you want to calculate full month, same depreciation. Whatever your depreciation calendar and prorate calendar would be same. So here also it would be evenly only. Okay, it will calculate equally for all the periods. Means full month. Everything is full month. and current period. In fixed assets, there is no concept of like opening and closing, similar to payables and receivables. Whatever the period you select as a current period for this book, that would be open period. Okay, that would be open period. Like payables, receivables will go to manage periods, pay task. There you can select your ledger and you can open or close. But in the fixed assets, whatever the period you give at book level, that will become your open period for this book. Okay, so select current period. Okay, so current period is Feb and we'll be able to, we are going to create assets from the Feb only. Okay, that's how it works. Now, within this book, okay, within this book, we have to maintain few accounts. Since we are using the rapid implementation, so there is extended tagging available for the relevant accounts. Automatically system will default all those accounts here. If you scroll it till down, you can see. It is taking all these accounts. Okay, it is taking all these accounts. So system will take automatically. So this is what we have to notice when you are creating transactions. We'll just will depending on the which transaction system will use, and we'll provide another level also will come across. And within this book, if you create assets, do you want to transfer that asset related accounting entries to GL or not? Yes, definitely we have to transfer. We create an asset, we have to send to GL as accounting entry. We may calculate depreciation, we create accounting entries, we have to send to GL. You may retire on asset, you have to create accounting entries, you have to transfer to GL. For that reason, you have to enable allow ledger posting. You have to enable allow ledger posting so that within this corporate book, what are the assets you create, for that we create accounting entries and we can transfer to general ledger application. Okay, now say save and close. So this is how you can create the corporate book. Here another book we have tax book. When we are dealing with the topic, we will create. Now we are not going to create. We'll understand the purpose and we'll create. I'll mark it as a pending. So that will create later. We create only corporate book. When you create tax book, we will talk about how these are different. Okay, what is a use case when we use tax book? What will happen? How it supports? We'll discuss. For now, we are not creating tax book. Only we created corporate book. So asset book means it could be corporate or tax book. Okay, asset book means it could be any one of the asset book which you create in fixed asset. The classification you have to choose whether that is a corporate or tax book. That. Now create.
Lakshman,
Yeah.
Lakshman, if you have a multiple legal entities, how we tag that?
No, we don't tag.
Corporate.
Just you create legal entity wise with a legal entity name only you provide. So accordingly, you will be just doing the mapping. What you can do here, there is no directly mapping with your business unit or legal entity. When you create the transaction, I'll talk about that point, which you have to understand.
Okay.
Okay, mapping is not there as per system. You cannot go and select this corporate book is associated with the with so and so business unit or so and so legal entity. Only you can tag with the ledger. Okay, but there is some way of doing that we will see. Will come across when you create the
Okay.
transactions. Yeah, right. Now, so create asset category. We created category values. By combining those category values, we have to create asset categories. When you create asset in the fixed asset should belongs to any one of the category. And again, that asset you should create in the specific corporate book. When you create assets within the fixed assets will create in the corporate book. Again, asset should belongs to so and so asset category. So now we have to set up asset category. Okay, I have to set up asset category. We'll see how to create the category. So look for categories task. Manage asset categories. So click on plus icon. Here select whatever the major category value we created. The major category. Now from where these values are coming? So whatever the category key flex field structure instance is mapped in the system controls. Within that category key flex field structure instance, what are the value sets we have? From those value sets, we are able to access the data, not from our value sets what we created. So here we created as a value like XX building, and minor categories we created limited, say office building. Now this category we have to assign to our book, corporate book. Just click on plus icon, select our corporate book. Alt INC corporate book. Now here, the asset clearing account is very important account here. We just make a note. Here is asset clearing account. So it will play very key role in certain concepts. Just make a note. This account automatically system is taking based on the extended tagging which is available in the like our rapid implementation template. The same account it took at book creation time also. So what is a category? You are creating category for building. You don't need to provide asset account for office building. Category level only we maintain with the major category value name only we maintain the accounts. Asset cost. Which asset cost? Building asset cost account we have to use. Let's select building asset cost account.
So is this asset clearing account has come from the rapid implementation?
Yeah, rapid implementation, right.
Why the other accounts are not coming up? Like because we are not given there?
Yeah, their tagging is not available and system cannot understand also. See, if categories belongs to building, we have to give the building account. If category is vehicle, we have to give vehicle account. Category asset clearing account is fixed account for any category. Okay, that's a common account. That is the reason system is taking. How system will understand like this building? It has to take building account only from the.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, that is the reason. Fine. You search for building. Buildings. So we don't maintain the accounts based on the minor category. Always we use major category level account only. Now depreciation expense. Which depreciation? It's a building. Building depreciation expense account we have to provide. What you can do is copy and paste and change the account. Okay. Just pick this same for depreciation reserve, and other accounts CIP etc. will give when we deal with the respective. Now go to default roles. Here we have to set how you are going to create the depreciation. Are we going to create straight line depreciation or diminution. STL, straight line or written down value method. Straight line means how? Say you have 12,000 as a asset value and you are going to calculate depreciation in 12 months. If it is straight line, asset value by number of periods. Equally, you will calculate depreciation. Written down value means asset value say 10,000, just for our exam understanding. Depreciation is 10%. In the first period, it will calculate 1,000 and remaining value would be 9,000. Next month, it will calculate 10%, the fixed percentage on remaining value of the asset. You call as net book value. On this 900, it will calculate, and the remaining asset value would be 8,100 on this 10%. Percentage is fixed. What is the current value of the asset? Accordingly, it will calculate. So this is how, this we call as written down value method, and the other one is straight line depreciation method. These are the two methods widely used. So in the system, we have to set up which method you are going to use under default rules. For entire category level, we are setting. That means by using this category, whatever the asset you create, these would be applicable. If you want to change, you can change at asset level. Okay. Just click on add. Select depreciation method. See, if this is a category for land, you can disable this. Land, you don't calculate the depreciation. Okay, but you have to provide certain information, but finally disable it. Disable depreciation, so that system won't calculate any depreciation for asset like land. Okay, so say just we want to use straight line depreciation method. Okay, so Oracle is providing the depreciation method. Still, if you want to create, you can go to manage depreciation methods task and you will be able to create, or else open and see whatever Oracle provided. Oracle provides predefined. And life. What is the life for this building? Say 50 years. Months 0. And now here you have to select your prorate convention. With this category, if you create any asset like buildings, office buildings, you can create with this. So how the depreciation need to be calculated in the first and last. Here they clearly given separate fields. In the prorate convention, if whatever you select, this would be applicable for first period. Retirement convention, it would be applicable for last period. But both fields are different, but definition is same. Whatever prorate convention we created, prorate convention only you have to select as a prorate convention and a retirement convention. Both are same. But this whatever you use here, the value will be useful for first period. Whatever you convention you use here, that will be applicable for last period of asset. So say full month. So this is how you can specify. Now just say save and close. Now we are creating only one category. Going forward, we'll create few more categories to test different use cases. This is how simply you can create the asset related category by combining major and minor values, and we have to provide the relevant accounts also. System will, whenever you create the transactions with this category, system will derive the accounts from this category level. We'll see that when we deal with the transaction, we'll go through. So we are good with this calendar definition, category definition. And now we'll assign FA related roles to user, and we'll assign corporate book to those roles, and we can wind up for today. The tomorrow session we
Lakshman,
can
one
see how to
question
create assets and how to proceed. Yep.
related to asset categories. We have provided depreciation reserve account. What does that?
We'll
What
discuss
does
when
that
we calculate depreciation, what is a YTD, what is accumulated depreciation, what is a reserve, and all we'll discuss. Yeah.
Okay.
Now I'm not touching any account, just we provided because we are not using those accounts. So when those come in the usage, I'll talk about it if you want to understand those.
Mhm.
Now assign the roles to the user. Go to security console. Users. Click on edit role, edit user, add role. Search for asset accountant role. One second. Oh, it is already added. Maybe somebody added, just make a note. So these are the two roles, since these are already added, assign. Okay, asset accountant, asset accounting manager. These two roles we have to assign to the user. Just make a note. To these two roles, we have to assign our corporate book. Okay, assign. Now assign our corporate book to this. For GL roles, we are assigning primary ledger. For APR roles, we have seen how to assign the business unit. For fixed asset related roles, we need to assign our corporate book. The task name is data access for users. Manage data access for users. Click on create. Asset accountant. Security contest is asset book. Asset book name is Alt INC corporate book. We have one more role to map with our corporate book. Select asset accounting manager. Asset book. Save. Alt INC corporate book. Save and close. Run the synchronization program. Select in the functional area. Select initial users. Run this task. Submit. Retrieve latest LDAP changes. Job. So once these roles are synchronized within the navigator, you will be able to see fixed assets. Now it got synchronized immediately. So now we have to go to assets, click on assets task. If it is synchronized, it will open. Yes, it is opening. So this user is able to get access to only this book. Okay, only to this book. This user can create assets only in this Alt INC corporate book. So that's how we provision. Now the current open period is Feb 24. So within this Feb month, no assets we created, no retirements we did, zero, nothing, no transactions taken place within this February month. Okay, the tomorrow session we'll see how to create assets and we'll go through the different use cases as per fixed assets.